Imaliva Thabo Bester has lost his court bid to be declared an awaiting trial inmate. You'll remember that he went to court representing himself, telling the court that he never escaped from prison. Instead, he says he was released legally on executive authority. He says that the time that he was returned by South African officials from Tanzania back into prison, he was in fact just in Tanzania on holiday. Well, now the court has ruled and they've said, nope, not today. They say Bester remains a convicted offender who must continue to serve his life sentence. He's currently incarcerated at eBhongweni Correctional Facility in Kokstad. In addition to this, he must pay all the costs associated with the entire process. Also, you might have seen a trending image of Nandipha Makutumana in court with a pregnant belly. Well,
posting lifeless bodies and babies without contacting their family members should never be allowed on social media. Posting severely injured people should not be allowed on social media, and posting survivors and victims without their consent should never be allowed on social media. Is this the new form of journalism whereby families are finding out about their loved ones and what happened to them online just like the rest of us, right? I mean, TikTok journalists are now reporting on breaking news on their own social media platforms, and this is becoming a norm. Is this problematic journalism? I do not know. So I'm calling all journalists and journalism students to come forward and explain this to us, because I'll be just sharing my own opinion and what I see online and what I think. So I do stand to be corrected. Disclaimer, I do stand to be corrected. Now, can you report on a developing story or a case on a public platform, right? Is this allowed in journalism? Right? With that said, hi and welcome back to the channel. Come closer, class is in session. Now, today I'll be talking about TikTokers who are becoming overnight journalists, right? It's happening. It's something that's really happening, right? Whereby I'm asking the question, is TikTok replacing traditional journalism? Because influencers are becoming journalists and journalists are becoming influencers, and I can't tell the difference at this point because influencers are everywhere. Right? Now, the secondhand embarrassment I get every time I watch a TikToker or a TikTok journalist reporting on a breaking story while breaking all ethical protocols within journalism is crazy, right? I mean, devaluing journalism. I'm talking about reporting without facts, reporting without sources, interviewing survivors and victims who are still in the not the right state to talk about what just happened, right? Reporting on cases that are under no investigation yet, as well as reporting on developing stories prematurely. This can lead to false narratives, false leads, and false information that the public now knows, and this can be dangerous. It really can be dangerous, right? Now, the rise of self-proclaimed social media journalists is growing. TikTok journalism is becoming a thing where TikTokers are now reporting on current affairs, crime cases, and heavy news that require and demand deep investigation and accurate sources before letting the public know about the information. But because of social media, they are reporting this on their own platforms and letting us know. Now, how accurate is this information, right? How accurate are these TikTokers? Can we trust what they're saying? I can only imagine how upset are traditional journalists about this, because you can imagine the hard work they've put in their craft for years. I mean, going to school, graduating, interning, building a name for yourself and building connections within the industry, only to be replaced by a TikToker who's prioritizing the algorithm above true journalism, right? And this is not only happening in the entertainment industry where influencers are taking over their jobs, right? It's now happening in the journalism industry as well as the book industry, where publishers are expecting authors to have platforms and a following. How? Why do I need to have a following when I write books? I don't understand, right? In the same breath, the bar is in hell for quality due to lack of integrity, right? Let me explain what I'm saying. If a TikToker is going to report a breaking story in the afternoon at 2, then why would I go at 7 o'clock at night and go listen to the newsroom, right? And listen to what I have to say. So what I'm saying is that the newsroom or traditional TV then loses half of its viewers simply because the TikToker has already told us about what's happening. Right? I mean, traditional viewers will go watch and the elderly will go watch the news, but Half of the people that's on TikTok is already not going to go watch the news because they already got the news that they needed this afternoon, right? I mean, true journalists and real journalists who's been in the industry for years are now forced to ask clickbait questions, even if it's inappropriate, because TikTok journalists are seeking viral responses, viral reactions, right? And the true essence of journalism is understanding that you need to make sure that justice is served, as well as you are constantly reminding citizens that you're not above the law, right? Now, reporting on news, current affairs, and crime cases is very serious, right? The amount of work that goes behind all of this is a lot, right? I mean, there are people in management that needs to approve all of this before they can give you a go ahead and say go live and start reporting this information. There are teams behind the news anchors and journalism who are doing their research, working together to make sure that they're getting the accurate facts, the right information before going live, and they do make mistakes sometimes. Now imagine what's happening with these TikTokers. Are they accurate? Can we trust them? So in essence, what I'm asking is the information accurate? Can we trust their delivery style? And can we start listening to what they're saying? Now, as I wrap up this video, I just feel that TikTokers and influencers shouldn't be given such level of access when it comes to journalism. I do think they can play around with the current affairs. I mean, current affairs is like what's happening in the economy, what's happening in South Africa. That's okay. They can report on that. But things like crime cases, fatal accidents, and as well as sexual cases, I think they need to be stopped, or they need to follow strict rules and regulations, because with these cases, you do need deep investigation and accurate sources before you come to the public and tell the public what's happening, right? And what I don't like and understand is how these TikTokers do not protect the victims and the survivors. When you're reporting on such cases and information, right, you need to make sure that you are protecting the victims and the survivors. Now, what they do, they will post the videos and the pictures of these victims and survivors, right? And that's not safe. And you are re-traumatizing these people who are going through one of the most traumatic experiences of their lives. I mean, something that happened to them, now the whole of South Africa has to know. And the fact that you guys don't blur their faces or don't deepen their voices in these videos is shocking, because traditionally, back in the days when they were interviewing children, women, or elderly people, including men as well, with these serious cases, they would normally ask if they can blur their faces, or maybe turn around and face the back of the camera, or just deepen their voices. Now with TikTokers, they take these videos, put it online, they put their faces online, and they start talking. Also, back in the days, they used to make sure that they don't tell the true story. So they will lie about certain informations, about their age, their name, or where they stay, right? So what I'm saying is that TikTokers need to start respecting journalism and understand that there are rules that you need to follow. You can't just grab your phone and post pictures and videos of people who are in difficult situations, right? And this takes me to this situation that happened earlier this year, whereby the students lost their lives, learners lost their lives, and their pictures was all over social media. People were posting their videos. I mean, parents and family members had to find out about these children online. I mean, there's a lady that was captured in a red dress running, losing her mind, rightfully so. But you are taking this lady a picture, you are taking this lady a video, and you want to post it on your social media platform because you're chasing views. How is that journalism, right? Why isn't she protected? She's losing her mind. Where is her child in all of this? Do you get what I'm saying? Also, including people who are interviewing angry parents. How can you ask a parent who's just lost their child, how do you feel? How do you expect this parent to answer you? In all honesty. So all I'm just asking is, what's happening to the integrity of journalism? Is TikTok replacing traditional journalism? Is social media replacing traditional journalism? And I really don't understand what's happening. So you let me know, because at the end of the day, I personally don't like seeing such videos and pictures circulating of people who are in difficult situations and struggling, and you just there to ready to report and get views and go about your day, right? With that said, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.